Jeffrey and Tori. Guess where we are?
Where are we?
The Comm Center!
No way.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't spend every period in here. I should know.
Look around. Look at this beautiful editor.
Wild
water
Fest
bottle.
back here on the
Oh,
editor.
yeah, we do.
That was pretty sick. Mr. Doyle went and...
Mosh pitted with everyone.
That was a fun word to use. Mosh pitted.
Mosh pitted, yeah.
I think it's using the wrong, like,
Nah,
words.
mosh pitted, yeah.
I think you just say he went into the mosh pit.
Well, I hope that the weather wasn't too cold when he went.
Was it outside?
It looks like it was inside, but...
There was a tent and a roof and some ceilings.
But, you know, could be the problem?
What?
You had to walk outside to get there.
True. You know, the weather's just crazy nowadays. It's up and then it's down and then it's all
Today
around.
is like relatively warm. It's Friday. It's pretty warm.
I snuck out of my dog door today. You know, I was like, wow, I don't even need a jacket.
Yeah, no bulkiness to get caught in your dog door.
Exactly.
Why did you sneak out your dog door?
I was late to school.
And you...
I didn't want my dad to find out, so I sort of just was like, at the doggy door. I mean, I'll probably tell him when I go home today and be like, isn't that funny? And he'll be like, no.
Good sense of humor.
Yeah, right, I know. He's like, stop being late to school, Brianna. And I was like, but I got accepted into college. That's like my mind mentality right now.
The funniest part is Bria's a Yorkie, so it's like a really snow.
I actually have a German Shepherd, so like...
Wait, Bri, the important thing is it's cold out.
The important thing is that I wouldn't go out there if there was snow.
Yeah, no, if there was snow on the ground and she saw it out the doggy door, she would have like stuck her head out and then
Just looks like him.
slowly gone back in. It just wouldn't have happened.
Like, not today. I'm just going to say it.
You know who else really cares about the weather?
No.
Mr. Willis.
Mr. Willis is like practically like a weather teacher.
He like taught environmental, right?
It's definitely called Earth and Space, but you know.
Didn't he teach environmental?
I actually don't know, but Mr. Wexler teaches environmental now, so.
Well, maybe it's Earth and Space, but either way, Earth and Space.
It's Earth and Space because I had the class. I dropped it.
Well, I don't know if he taught it last year though.
Taught Earth and Space last year because that's the reason why I took the class is so I could be in the Audion. Right. And we weren't in the Audion this year, so I dropped the class.
I thought environmental was in the Audion.
No, it is not.
Well, that's a plot twist in my life. Point being, he told us about the weather.
He told us about the weather, and you guys should go listen about it because the weather is just messed up.
Yeah, it is.
Hello, Eagle's Eye. I'm Craig Lacey here with Mr. Willis to talk about the temperature. How you doing today, Mr. Willis?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for being able to come out.
No problem.
So, why do you think the weather climate is so high and then some days so cold outside?
Well, there's a real big distinction between the two, right? So climate is a condition of the atmosphere over a long period of time. The weather is our day-to-day, right? Hour to hour, minute to minute. So what we're really experiencing isn't necessarily a big climate issue. What we're really talking about lately is more of a weather fluctuation, right? So we have days where it's warm, we have days where it's cold, and that can happen at this time of year with the impact of El Nino in our Pacific Ocean.
What's El Nino?
El Nino literally means the boy.
The boy?
Yeah, so if you can picture like a two-year-old boy, kind of rambunctious and kind of has a lot of energy running around. What we're seeing in the Pacific Ocean right now is a lot of warm water running up the coast of California. So as it runs up the coast of California, what we get is a lot of evaporation happening, and that can result in some different weather impacts that we would normally get in the winter. We kind of warm up here in the Gulf, or warm up here in Pennsylvania, the Gulf Coast tends to give us a little more warm, moist air. California can get some more rain than normal.
So what do you think are appropriate ways to dress for the weather?
Comfort's key, right? So it's all about planning. I often tell my students the one thing that impacts us the most is the weather, right? So whether it's going to be cold outside, you want to, if you're comfortable wearing a hoodie or a jean jacket or a sweater, if you like the cold, then of course, be more comfortable, wear shorts, wear a t-shirt, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. The hard part about weather is really precipitation. Rain, sleet, snow, along those lines.
Most
right?
definitely.
Right, that can impact definitely what you're going to wear the next day.
Awesome. Do you think this has anything to do with global warming?
Too soon, too short, right? So in order to, again, global warming is along the lines of the idea of climate change, right? So we're talking about climate, we're talking about a long period of time. Not even tens of years, not even decades, we're talking like hundreds of years in terms of climate change. So this is a really short span. December was one of the warmest Decembers we've ever had. 2015 was one of the warmest years we've ever had. But that data is still coming back to us. So we'll have to look at the long-term trends before we start saying, yeah, definitely global warming is occurring. The other thing is the Earth does go through these trends, right? It warms up, it cools off. So Are we in a part of a trend? It's possible.
Awesome. Based on the current weather patterns, how do you think this year will be?
In terms of snow and precipitation?
Yes.
That's usually the big question, right? So what's going to happen? Is it going to snow? January looks pretty dry right now. We've had a lot of cold air this week early, and temperatures were down around in the teens and the single digits. That usually brings cooler, dry air. We need a lot more moisture to come through.
Yeah, I agree.
So in terms of snow and precipitation, probably not till like February-ish will be a good time because we'll definitely be cool enough then. If we get a pop of moisture, we can get some snow.
Awesome. Where could I get more exact information about the current weather? Because some news channels talk about weather and their guesses aren't precise.
Okay. First things first, you could always use a weather app. I use the Weather Channel, which most comes with my phones. I use WeatherBug as well. Both two very good resources. I compare them both. Weather.rap.ucar.edu is a fun one that I use in my classroom. It's also called Real-Time Weather.
Awesome.
That's really good. And NOAA, NOAA.gov is also a very good website to use, and it's user-friendly. They're both user-friendly in getting information.
Awesome. So what is your opinion about the California water drought?
Really unfortunate situation there. They've had a long span, I think it's only about 3 years now, of dry air pushing in over California, giving them the drought situation, and water usage becomes a major issue, not only in California, but throughout New Mexico and Arizona. Fortunately for them right now, they got a lot of precipitation coming in the form of snow. So that's going to give them some snowpack in the mountains of the Sierra Nevadas, which hopefully in the springtime and the melting would give them a little bit more water as it goes on. It doesn't cause too much mass movement like slumping or mudslides along those lines. That's the hope. Hopefully this isn't necessarily a drought breaker, but it is a good start to breaking that drought.
Let's hope that happens. And what is the best place for you to be during this temperature?
Well, earlier this week when I was in the teens, inside, the code blue was put out because of the homeless being outside, and also this exposure to those temperatures for a long period of time is dangerous. You can actually get frostbite and loss of limb is possible. With the fluctuation in temperature, being alert and being just attentive to what's happening, right? Knowing that it's going to be 41 or even 60 this weekend.
Right.
Right, and it was just in the teens on Monday. Just being alert and having an idea of what's going to happen next is really, really important, and paying attention to details. So even watching the news, checking your weather apps, going online, just being attentive and alert to these changes, because we're going to have several fluctuations even over the next week.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. And then, is there anything else you would like to add? Any tips or something?
My biggest part about weather is constant look up, right? Know what's happening in the atmosphere. Keep an eye on the cloud formations, and that kind of gives you an idea of whether it's going to rain or not rain. And also just keep an eye on weather apps. It does give some good information. If you have any questions here in school, feel free to stop by my room.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Willis, for your
No
time.
problem.
I appreciate it once again.
Yeah.
I'm Craig Lacey, and I just talked to Mr. Willis about the weather. Back to you, Eagle's Eye.